Hi folks, Nick here with Nick and Bryce TV. Just want to let everybody know we're going to have a little music for you guys to listen to until we get everybody into the call. So be patient, sit tight, and we'll be with you in just a moment. Gotta love Journey, Bryce.
You ready to rock this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and kickstart this. I'll go ahead and end the music, and then we'll jump into it here.
Sounds good. All right, there you go, bud. Boom.
All right, Nick here from Nick and Bryce TV. Another exciting week of interactive webinars gone wild. What we wanted to kind of stress the importance of is having a blog on your website to kind of create that interactivity between you and your clients, and getting the most feedback. And like we stressed last week, whether it be positive or negative feedback, getting that feedback is going to help you excel in your business. And it also helps you to reach out and show that you are real and that you are willing to step up and really be there for your consumers. So we'll show you kind of a little test website that we've been throwing together. We've been showing it week to week, just showing a little of the additions that we've been adding to it. And we may have a special guest in today. Depends on if she's able to make it or not, but we might have somebody joining us, and then we can kind of show you what we're all about. But I'm going to throw it over to Bryce and see what he's got in store.
And how you guys doing here? Bryce Peterson from Nick and Bryce TV. Let me get my little logo. How's that? There we go. But yeah, another week, more stuff coming up, new stuff coming up, and like I said, we were supposed to have a guest on. Her name is Bethany, but and she might pop on. We're not sure, but she's very interested, and we've been working with her, and proud of her because she's doing a lot. She's doing a lot right now. I mean, a lot of people where we go off and train people, kind of. But to be honest, some people drop the ball. Where every time we've ever told her anything, she picks it up and she drives, and I'm impressed every time. So if she pops on, we might kind of interrupt and go into that. But as far as today, we were kind of talking about maybe, Nick was talking about Facebook ads we should talk about, and basically the importance of a blog, and why people need blogs and why people are using blogs. But I'll swing it back over to Nick here, and we'll have him start it out. All right, Nick?
Sounds good. Now what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to pull up my screen share so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to pop it over to our website that we've been playing around with. And as you can see, a lot's changed. We've got our new Magic Marketer logo up, brought to you by Fiverr, which, as we've said, outsourcing is key. If you're not quite familiar with a certain area, or it's going to take you a while to get it done, pay somebody else to get it done for you. I mean, this is something that Bryce and I probably could have done ourselves and got together, but let's face it, we always say time is money. And if you can kind of gauge your time versus your money, I mean, we got 4 logos for $10. I mean, that's pretty inexpensive. And we got them delivered in less than a week. So, I mean, for time frame wise, I mean, yeah, I mean, if I would have needed it ASAP, we could have done that for an extra charge. But as we all know, keeping costs down in your business when you're launching is definitely beneficial. But I'll go over to our More tab, drop down to our blogger feed, and a nice star wipe, if you will, out of there. So we've got work smarter, not harder. With technology changing constantly, it's sometimes overwhelming to keep up with everything. When Nick and Bryce TV was developed, it's our #1 goal to keep entrepreneurs up with the new and pointed in the right direction in the work-from-home industry. As it's not what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. So having this, I mean, definitely update it on a daily basis if possible. We always say that 3 times a week is a good time to hit up your blog at minimum, because you always want new content. The more people see the exact same thing over and over and over again, let's face it, it gets stale, and it's not grabbing the attention. And putting more content out of here, it will definitely help drive people to your business, and anything that you want to promote, or even if you just got something. This is a great place for little testimonials. to kind of see, let's say somebody had something positive to say about you, have them put it in your blog. And then the more people see that, more people are going to be more familiar with your company, more familiar with your business, and that's just going to help drive traffic in the long run. But just to kind of give you a start of where it's at, like I said, it's just a little test format that Bryce and I put together. And I'll switch it over to the Wix here for picking your templates. I mean, this is a website that we've used. I mean, you can go in and kind of pick any which way, any kind of a business that you're doing. And like a one-pager, for example, let's say you're just starting out and you're not quite ready to launch your website, you've got coming soon. So at least people have somewhere to go. I mean, especially for the people that, like we like to say, farm fresh, that are just getting into the industry, this will at least get you something to look at. I mean, as soon as you get into your business, getting a website, getting it created, we all understand it takes time. Not everybody has, their nights and days free, and scheduling new things and starting a new business, it takes time. And unless people are generally extremely wealthy starting off, starting from scratch into a business, you've probably got a job on the side. You've got your family to deal with. So the time aspect of it is always tough for some people, and we understand that. And that's really kind of where we want to let you know that getting a start, that's just it. Is everybody always gets trouble with getting the ball rolling. Where do I start? Well, getting on Wix, getting a page, getting it set up is definitely the beginning process of getting to going to where you want to go. But to get a little bit off track of where I was at, but blogs are definitely a good thing to integrate to keep things fresh and updated. And like I said, the more people see change isn't always a bad thing. Change is good. I mean, you want people to see, okay, what's going on today, what's going on, and this is it. I mean, pick the one pager. I mean, it's as simple as that. But we've gotten a little bit more complex in ours. We've got a page, but we've got a lot of different things in here to show people, what we're about, and that's really where you want to kind of gauge things. We got to figure out a way to get that play sign down. But like I said, that's a test format, so it's just something that we're getting out there to kind of give people an idea, a general basis on where to start. So I'm going to kick this back.
Well, it keeps people relevant. You know what I mean? If you don't have a constant updated blog or something like that, I mean, you're old news within 3 days. That's the one thing that people don't understand is that, I mean, the average attention span anymore is like, what, 2-3 days? You hear that big news, did you hear Kanye and them, and all of a sudden something happened, and 3 days later, no one gives a shit anymore. I mean, it's rude, but that's true. I mean, if you can't keep updated and you don't keep pumping in new information, there is no reason for people to go to your site. I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing. I mean, even if it's a one-pager, a lot of people, like Nick said, when it starts out, they're confused, they're overwhelmed, they're like, well, I don't even know what to do. You at least have to have a place for people to go. I mean, if you have no place for everybody to go, there's no business there. It's the same when I was doing selling helicopters in the mall, which Nick remembers. If there was no kiosk, there was no sales. If there was no place for people to come and see my content or my product, there was no way I was ever going to sell anything, or there's no way I was going to make any money. But a lot of people get scared because it's all overwhelming, and it's new, and people are still kind of getting into it, and I don't know why, because the internet's here to stay, and it's only going to get more and more and more integrated into our lives. So why would you not want to step on that right now, right when it's still in its teenage years? Think about it. If you started now, and in 20 years, when it's finally getting to maybe its its 20s and 30s, you're already going to be in the game, and you're already going to have a huge site, and it's already going to be developed. But a lot of people don't see it ahead of time. They see it as right now. It's just nothing right now. I have nothing. I have no content right now. Well, start it, and each day add something a little bit new. If you put in, if once a month you put in some training course to help someone else, in a year you've got 12 training courses. That's plenty of stuff to have on a website. That's plenty of content. But a lot of people think of it as in the now, where I just don't have anything right now. What can I give? Why should I start a site? Why should I start a blog? What are people going to want to see from me? Well, a lot of that has just got to be within you. What do you love doing? And simply express it on a website. We all use Facebook, and I know we all use Facebook. Why not have an extension on that, like a blog that people can come to every day? Make it professional and turn it into a business. But like we see all the time at Nick and Bryce TV, is a lot of people just get so confused up front. And it's not necessarily that they need a hand holding, but they just need someone there to kind of let them know it's okay and that you might struggle and let you know that that's okay. And that's where a lot of your best content comes from, is when you start to struggle and realize that there is no exact roadmap for this. It's more of live and learn what's good and learn what's bad, and learn it, do it, teach it. I mean, but it all starts with a blog. It all starts with some place that you can go and that people can see your content. And I mean, like Nick said, a one pager just to start it out, that's more than you're already 50% ahead of the game, because you have something for somebody to go and see. So, I mean, I know Nick agrees with that completely, but I'll swing it back over to you. You can continue with the training. There you go, bud.
That's all right. And if you want to kind of draw some traffic, or if anything, become familiarity with stuff, start integrating things that are trending into your blogs. I mean, look up what's popular for the day. Start plugging some of those things into your blog. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, let's say your favorite artist has a hit or anything. Start talking about that. Or even if it's not yours, I mean, you see it all the time, like if you go to, let's use Yahoo as an example. They have their top 10 trending things. Picking one of those topics and talking about that in your blog, that's going to create the so-called internet buzz that you really need to succeed in the online marketing world. And finding something that's very well liked and very well out there, that's going to drive more people to see your content. And that's the big key, is every time we start with a new client, they're going to go, how do I attract new customers? How do I get new people in to see my content? I mean, that's probably one of the #1 questions that we get asked, and that's just it. Follow the trends. And I know a lot of our older crowds, they don't like the new hip kind of style with the younger generation, but they need to see that things that are trending, that's what's going on. And we're in a very mobile society. I mean, how many times do you check your phone a day? I know people that can't take their phone out of their hand for the entire day. So play on that. Use that to your advantage. I mean, I know it's weird, but see yourself through a new age teenager. And I know that's kind of a weird concept, but that's what we need to do, because instead of thinking, I mean, Bryce is always saying, thinking in the now, but also think a couple years from now on how integrated and how things are going to start with the younger generation. So let's face it, we need to target younger generations to get rolled into your products, because they're the ones that are going to carry your business. They're the ones that are going to buzz about. They're going to use Twitter. They're going to use Facebook, and they're going to use blogging. And they're very much familiar with it, because that's what they're used to. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go back, I remember my dad, when he first bought his first desktop computer. It was like $2,100, and it had not even 1% the capability of my new smartphone nowadays. So just think about that. And people that are, let's say, in that 40 to 60 demographic, they don't know a lot about the social media and the online marketing and that. And that's really a disservice for them, because they're the ones that are already established with their business. They've been doing this for 30 years, but yet they're losing business to the younger companies, and they can't seem to grasp that concept of why. And by thinking outside of the box and putting yourself into that younger demographic and targeting that younger generation, they're going to start building up their business again. And let's face it, I mean, newspapers are almost a dead thing. I mean, I worked for an appliance retailer for many years, and they would spend anywhere between $8,000 to $12,000 in advertising every month. I mean, to think about that, that is a lot of money that's thrown into advertising. That just, let's face it, not as many people pick up the paper anymore. I mean, yeah, a lot of your older crowds, they pick it up for groceries and that, and for a little bit of shopping here and there. But the younger generation, the market that you're trying to target, I guarantee if I walk the streets and talk to 100 young people nowadays and ask them, how many times do you read the newspaper a week? 0 would be the #1 answer out of that crowd. And that's it's just moving on, moving forward with a new style, and showing people that, hey, get into the online marketing world, get into that advertising, target the younger people, because they're the ones that are talking about it. I mean, I got a niece, she's 14, she's obsessed with One Direction right now, okay? She was scrolling on her phone. She had to plug her phone in because of how many likes and this and that on the One Direction page. I mean, these people, I mean, I think that Bryce and I have a pretty good handle on the speed and that on the online marketing world. But to see her just flying through her phone and liking this and switching this and that and that and the other, that it's to the point where you're like, wow, you know what? Where's that going to be in the next 5 years? And that's really what you've got to kind of think about and take advantage of that and use that in your everyday business strategy. I mean, target it, target as much as you can, and as funny as it sounds, but invest your time and efforts into the younger generations, and I guarantee it'll pan out for the better. I mean, I can't guarantee millions of dollars and all this certain success, but I'm almost 100% positive you will see an increase in at least people buzzing about your business when you get into that younger generation and get into that mobile traffic. So,
Well,
you got anything to add to that?
it's getting to a point where, I mean, like, for example, went out a couple days ago to get some pizza, and drove across the place, and we're like, wow, that'd be really cool. Let me go check on Urban Spoon, or let me go check on one of the websites to see if that restaurant's on there, see what the ratings are. And we couldn't find it online, and it didn't have a website. And I know from just seeing this business outside, it was a brick and mortar, and I mean, I know that it's been there for a while, and I know it probably was successful years ago. I bet you it was. But nowadays, when you don't have a website and you don't have a way to put content on a blog or anything, I don't know about you, Nick, but I look at it, and if I'm looking at it that way, I know the younger generation's even looking at it even more like that. I wonder how relevant you are. I wonder how legit you are. You don't have a website? I mean, really? In today's day, you don't have a website. Are you legit? Are you fly by night? You know,
Are
and
you going out of business?
yeah, and a lot of it is not even any of that. A lot of it is just you got an old pony and it's his tricks, and he ain't doing anything new. He don't want to go off and do Facebook and Twitter, and he don't want to get into any of that because that's just too confusing and too much waste of time. And that's exactly the opposite. Is the exact thing you need to do if you want to get any of the customers, because that's the younger generation right now. Now imagine 20 years from now, the younger generation is going to be the older generation. And Twitter and Facebook is going to be all we know. And it's going to be a world where being able to speak to people and having personal communication is going to be, you know, a skill, a trade. You know, people aren't going to know how to communicate more. And that's the way the world's going to go. And you can either be depressed with that, or you can see it as it is. You can see it and go, okay, I'm going to utilize it. Because if anything, that makes everything way easier. You can be a person in Omaha, Nebraska, or Minneapolis, Minnesota, and you can have clients in China. And you don't have to go to China or fly to China or go or do any of that. You can sit there and get on a call. You can sit there and do email. You can sit there and do a blog. It's only making our connection throughout the world easier. And if you're a small business looking to expand worldwide and you aren't doing it, you really need to relook at what your priorities are. Because I'll be the first to tell you, if you don't have a Facebook account, your business is dying. And I mean, I know there are businesses out there that are doing it and kicking it, but you're really leaving money on the table by just not wanting to invest a little bit of time in yourself, in social media, and being self-aware. Being self-aware. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, the one skill you should have is being self-aware. I mean, maybe you don't like country music, maybe you don't like rap music, but geez, you better kind of consume around it, because that's how you can tell how trends are going to go. I don't like country music the most. I know Nick and I are more, we like older music and the rock and everything like that, and that's fine, and we can like that all we want. But if we aren't a little bit self-aware how Lady Gaga and how Miley Cyrus is doing her stupid thing, if we're not a little bit aware of that, we're gonna be dead fish. I mean, being self-aware and knowing how the trends are going, you can utilize those to your advantage. And if you can cling on to those, if your newest blog goes, well, did you see how Miley Cyrus made a fool of herself last night at the concert? You immediately got people's attention, and you've got the younger age attention. Now, does that mean all of your traffic's going to convert and all that's going to be sales? No, that doesn't mean that. But that does mean that you're immediately getting a whole new wave of customers, potential customers, into your business that you never even fathomed. And you're doing it 10 times easier because it's social media. That's what it's here for, guys. And a lot of people are still wanting to do hotel calls and meeting up with people. I mean, Nick and I are both very much for that. You cannot, this is a business of relationships, and you need to build relationships. We can't sit there and not utilize communication, but it's making it easier for businesses to run and grow and scale So I don't know why you wouldn't use social media. You know, I mean, the one thing that when we jumped on that bandwagon years and years ago, and we were like, you know, this is going to only get bigger and only get more widespread. We either hop on it now and ride this wave, or we sit here and we sit outside and go, well, it's probably going to pass, and it's probably, you know, that Facebook is probably going away, and Twitter is just going to disappear eventually. I mean, if you really believe that by now, you might need to look at a different occupation, because it's not. It's not going to get any. It's not going to go away. I mean, so what we teach you here is to utilize. We don't care if you use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, if you use it all or if you use one, but at least get your foot wet and get in there and start seeing what it's all about. Because we'll be honest, there are people making silent millionaires of themselves online. No one needs to know, and all they're doing is utilizing social media. And if you do it right, it could be the best thing you've ever done in your life, you know. But if you know, but that's the one thing, is you need the proper knowledge, and especially when you're 30, 40, 50 years old, and you have seen the other side of the spectrum where there was no social media and internet, it's hard to grasp that this is the new age. But we assure you here that it's not going away, and you can either utilize it to your benefit, or you can watch other people pass you by and wave to you when they're the ones reaping the rewards, the stuff that you deserve. That's the only difference, is the people that are making millions are just living your dream, and they decided to utilize it. They decided to take action and do it now and learn this machine that's only going to get bigger in time. So, I mean, I don't know how your opinion is, Ivan. You got anything to throw at that?
Well, absolutely, and that's just it. I mean, we got a lot of different kind of people out in the world. There's doers, there's thinkers, and there's people that take action, and there's people that just, honestly, I've talked to many, many people in this online marketing industry that have really great ideas, but that's where it stops. I mean, they don't take it and run with it, and that's the biggest I guess, issue. Like Bryce and I, we love challenges, and that's just it. You got a great idea, let us know. If we can make that become a reality, then we did our jobs correctly. And we always tell people, no goal is too big, no vision is too small, and that's just it. Set your sights high, and that's just it. I mean, I've seen. I don't remember what movie it was, but he's like, oh, you got any goals? He goes, no, I set them really low, so I'm never disappointed. That's a poor attitude to take towards it. You know what I mean? I've had many goals throughout my life. I mean, I wanted to become an Eagle Scout. I am an Eagle Scout. I wanted to become a black belt in martial arts. I'm a black belt in martial arts. And that's how I work. That's how I process. If I see something and I really want it, I'm gonna get there, no matter how I'm gonna do it. But I see it as that's just my next step. I don't even see it as an idea or a goal anymore. That's my next thing that I want to do, and that comes with confidence. That comes with the ability to just drive yourself, push yourself. And let's face it, there are people out in this world, and we deal with a lot of our clients that they can't push themselves, and that's what we're here a little bit for, to kind of help push people and help people walk people through. Because let's face it, it's a lot easier to get discouraged than it is to build confidence on something. Because let's use an example that you're playing a video game, and then you get stuck and you get stuck and you get stuck and you get frustrated, and then you're like, well, I'm just going to buy a different video game because this isn't for me. Well, if somebody was there and goes, oh, well, you know what, try this or try that, and then kind of push you through that tough patch, it makes things a lot easier to grasp, and then you build a little bit more confidence in it. And no matter what kind of area that you're in, having your confidence above your fear is how you're going to succeed. Because I talk to a lot of people that want to launch a new business, but they're extremely gun-shy about it. And you know what? Wayne Gretzky said it the best. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I've really kind of lived by that. And that's to the point where, you know, if you've got something, throw something at it. I'm not saying that, you know, that you're going to go to the track and you know, you're so confident that horse is going to win to throw $1 million at it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you've got a vision and a goal in any kind of business aspect of it, go for it. Reach for it. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that with a little bit of help from a couple of guys that wanted to make a difference in everybody's lives, how much the change will really affect you. And it is nice. I tell you what, when Bryce and I first got into this, I would have paid a lot of money for somebody that would have been there on the backside, that would have been, hey, am I doing this right? Is this where I need to be? I mean, do you feel confident what I'm doing? I mean, those are questions that people ask themselves all the time. Let's face it. I mean, and doubt's something that everybody has. I mean, I've been doubtful in my life. I can't say that I've been 100% go 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 my entire life. But you know what? Having somebody there beside you, or somebody that's there to go, you know what? Let's change this, or that was great. I mean, those are the motivators that people need, and it's not. We're not going to be like Chris Farley and be a motivational speaker on SNL or anything, but we're definitely going to be here for you in any way, shape, or form. And we're going to be honest with you, though, too. I mean, Bryce and I have plain out told people, well, I mean, we're not going to tell people that anything stinks. We'll disagree with them to a certain point, or better yet, what we'll do is go, well, okay, that's good, but try this, and let's see what you think about that. And 9 times out of 10, our customer base, they really appreciate that, because like that always comes down to positive or negative feedback. But the biggest problem that most people have is taking constructive criticism. And it takes a lot for people to get over, because let's face it, when you get into something and you're really gung-ho about it, you're not going to want somebody to tell you that, oh, that wasn't that good of an idea, or maybe you should do it this way or that way. And Bryce and I, we always say we don't know all the answers, but we've got a good idea on what's going to work, what's going to help, and that's really where we're here for you. And that's really what the point that I wanted to get across is no matter what kind of area, no matter what you're selling, we're going to back you up 100%. And on the second hand, we will also make sure that you're not going to do anything foolish, because it's very, very easy in the online marketing world to throw $500, $1,000 here because there's people out there that say it's a sure thing. I'm really hesitant on that, because let's face it, rule of thumb, if it sounds too good to be true, it generally is. So that's why we always start with all the free platforms and scale it up from there, and try a little bit of advertising, a little bit of money in here, see what's going to work, and take it from there. Because the last thing that we want is just somebody to dump a ton of money in something, get burned by it, and never want to do it again. That's very discouraging, and it pretty much ruins people's outlook on the online marketing world. And that's the biggest disservice that people can do, is to themselves. Is basically, all right, fine, it didn't work, I'm done. You know what I mean? Giving up's not the answer. And I don't know if I use this reference or not, but it's like Thomas Edison. It took him 2,000 tries to develop the filament in a light bulb. And everybody said, well, you failed to make a light bulb 2,000 times. He said, no, I found out 2,000 ways how not to make a light bulb. And how not to make something, you can use that just as much as when you succeed and actually make something. Because learning from your mistakes is only going to make things better. And let's face it, in the online marketing world, you're going to make mistakes. I've put some money in advertising that didn't pan out before, but I learned from it, and I learned not how to do it that way the next time. And that's really where having somebody there to kind of help walk you through, show you a little bit about it. And we're excited to say that hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we're working on a couple of different new sites. We're going to have some training modules available that'll kind of break it down step by step. And then once you go through all of our training, then we're actually going to sit down and have a live one-to-one interactive webinar call with you to find out what you thought about it, what areas you liked, what didn't you like, and that's just it. The more that you can kind of open up your mind to the idea, the better that your business will become. But that's all that we really had for tonight. Bryce, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, not exactly. I guess you really hit it pretty well. I think in this industry, people were so muddied about how people make money. Because I know when we started out years and years ago, it was one of those things where it was kind of like that. No one told you quite how you made money, And here at Nick and Bryce TV, we're pretty brash about it. We let you know that it's not dreams and farts. It's not that. It's you got to have a business, and we still to this day have people come in and they're just like, well, how you do it? What's the magic? What are you doing? And you have to have a business mindset. Now we can't tell you what your offer to this world is. Like I always say, are you a guitar guy selling guitars to a guitar world, or are you a car guy selling cars to a car world? I mean, whatever your offer is, even if it's an ebook, even if you are a health and fitness guru and you write ebooks, and you want to sell ebooks to the world, and that's your offer, whatever it is. But you have to have an offer. I mean, let's be real here. Money doesn't. I mean, for you to be able to make money, money has to transact. It has to change hands. Money has to change hands in some way or some form. And a lot of people in this industry really like to keep away from that. It's not sales. We're not sales. It's all automation. It's easy. You're not even being salesy. And there are ways in this world now that you don't have to be salesy. Like Nick and I always encourage, sell yourself, and the product sells itself. Be that person you want to be, and then when you create the following, like every business does, creates a following, it sells itself because it's one of the natural. It follows through, and when people do that, that's when people say it's not salesy. What they're telling you to do is invest in yourself. Promote yourself, and the things that you offer just naturally sell. But that's the one thing we always tell people here is money has got to change hands. It's not going to all of a sudden one day you open up your bank account and there's 500 grand in there and you're like, I have no idea how I did it. I don't know. That's not how this works. We also encourage that you need to have a vision. Yeah, you need to have a vision laser pointed toward what you want in this world. If you've ever asked anybody in this world what they want, a lot of people will tell you ideas or simple things, and then we always follow up going, well, okay, well, you want to be rich. We all want that. It's a necessary evil. We all want to make money. We all want to be comfortable in this life. We want to feel like we don't have to work every damn hour of this day to be above water. But when Nick and I come and we follow up and we're like, okay, well, you want to make a lot of money. I get that. We do that. We want that. What are you doing every day? Like, well, okay, when you're making that $500,000 every year, when you wake up in the morning, what are you doing? What's your vision? What are your daily? Are you getting up with a cup of Joe and are you speaking to your thousands of people because you sell products online, or do you make guitar videos and you train people and then you advertise it and people come to your videos and they pay you? What are you doing on a daily basis that is going to make this happen? Because you and I both know, and Nick, we all know that this is not just going to happen. You're not going to sit there one day and all of a sudden magically you are a millionaire and you do nothing for it. That's a very muddied, disillusioned in this industry kind of sales point. People like to sell you on that it just happens and just money happens and you're rich and the life change. You have to change yourself. You have to realize that it's you incorporated, and you also have to realize that no one out there is going to do it but you. But if you're lucky and you find people like Nick and I that want to build a community around people that want the same thing that you want, that's where magic can happen. It's much different when you go to a place. The one thing we know, we see all the time when we talk to anybody is that people are confused, they're lonely, they don't have anybody to vent to, they go to their daily job and they can't go off and tell anybody at the job what it's all about because they just don't get me. And we understand that. And that's kind of why we started this, is because a lot of people, when they find the secrets, they think that you got to keep it to themselves. And that is completely the opposite of what should be done. When you find the tricks and the things that are helping, share them. Help people. That's where the magic comes from. And like Nick said, we would have paid thousands of dollars up front if we would have been immersed into a network of people that just simply wanted a piece of what we wanted in life. We knew there was better out there. We knew that there was much more out there for us. And Nick and I, we not always lived, we've lived rough lives. We've lived all sorts of life. We've been in sales, we've been telemarketing, we've done everything. So we know what it's like to rough it. But we also know what it's like to work smarter, not harder. And the one thing that the hardest part about this is when you go back to your regular job, which we realize you need to have to sustain money at first. But not everybody sees your vision the same way. And you can take that in one or two ways. You can go with it and go, well, I guess this stuff's just not for me because nobody around my little circle is doing it. Or you can go, no, I need to find the people that I need to be around to make this life happen. And in Nick and Bryce TV, that's what we're doing. And we're just making it a little bit easier to find us. And that's why we do the TV platform. That's why we're always on. Because if you need somebody that knows exactly what you want and how to get it, we're the people here for you. I mean, I know you've already wrapped it up, Nick, and I know that's basically what you were saying, but it is. It's a lonely world to be an entrepreneur. It's lonely at the top, and you hear that all the time, but it really is true because if not everybody wants this kind of life, and I think everybody wants the after effect of it, but they're not willing to kind of put the time in and the knowledge and really invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Instead of going and buying crap that we all buy, how about you invest in your knowledge, the stuff that you need to know? Yeah, maybe you need to know a couple things up front, like maybe proper autoresponders, and maybe you need to know how to get Facebook fan pages put up. Maybe you need to learn that, but that's investing in yourself. We spend money on all sorts of other crap all around, but we never invest in ourselves. And like I said, here at Nick and Bryce TV, that's one thing we care about is the entrepreneur in you. And if you want it bad enough, we want it bad enough for you too. But I'll wrap this up. We've actually gone for about 40 minutes today. That's about double what we've been doing recently. We know that people like it short and sweet because people got busy lives. But I'll throw it over to you, and you can spin her out, Nick.
So if you guys want to invest a little bit more about yourself or pick our brains, shoot us an email at nickandbrycetv@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook at Nick and Bryce TV, Twitter, Nick and Bryce TV, and also if you know anybody that could really benefit from what we've been talking about, send them our link to our webinar login at nickandbrycetv.com. So have a good week, folks, and we'll see you next time.